My blissful gorgeous selves, now let us enter a scripture of duties and responsibilities. Gita is a duty and responsibility inspiring scripture, so much so, we can say according to Gita, God means Bhagavan, means Ishwar, is embodiment of will and ability to perform one's duties and responsibilities. Gita is certainly not war inspiring, definitely not producing warmongers, since battle was the only duty left at that time, because all efforts for peace had been failed. So, battle up with these lady insulters, greedy and misguided mob warriors was the only way left. Had it been war-inspiring, Gita would have read only among soldiers in army camps. But all along these 5,000 years, even highly peace-loving, enlightenment-searching, spiritual ladies and gents have been reading, lecturing on Gita, and none of them ever became bloodthirsty, intolerant and aggressive at all. Rather, many readers have become enlightened. So, Mahabharata war was a duty of Arjuna, urgent need of the time. All were ready, but standing up to fight, Arjuna saw the army of the enemies. To his utter shock of surprise, they were his own kinsmen. So, a kind of confusion, a weakness, a frustration surfaced up in the mind of Arjuna. He was so shaken and taken over by emotion that he was completely lost in darkness as what is righteous and what is unrighteous. He was going to choose the unrighteous dressed as righteous. Sri Krishna clears his way. Arjuna knew what is right and what is wrong, and he chose the battle as his foremost duty. Gita clarifies your path. If you are a businessman, if you are a housewife, if you are a professor or a technician or a politician or a farmer, it only enlightens your heart and you can clearly see which one is a path to righteous living for you. Clairvoyant Sanjay continues in the beginning of Gita. After listening Gita, super warrior Arjuna fought with his enemies who had dragged his wife in royal assembly, holding her hair, who tried to poison them, burn them alive, rob away their ancestral heritage. He fought with them, remaining free from enmity, equal in loss and gain, equal in victory and defeat, arisen from lower pulls of nature. And although the enemies were 4 million soldiers more than theirs, still Arjuna won and rose his sovereign power. So will be you victorious in the battle of life. Albert Schweitzer was a pessimistic famous philosopher of Europe. He had nothing in the world to make him happy, and Gita was given to him when he was invited in a dancing club, and as soon as he read, it triggered his super intelligence, and he started dancing, placing Gita on his head. So people were surprised, shocked with surprise, and asked, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Gita has changed my opinion, my theorem upside down. This Bhagavad Gita is worthy to be placed on the head and go on dancing all life. That's how I feel." So my blissful gorgeous self, let us enter into Bhagavad Gita. This is wonderful art of successive somersault on the trapeze of superior intelligence in progressive space layers of discretion towards higher and highest consciousness, my dear friends. Okay? So, a visitor asked a holy man, "Holy Sire, why is this handkerchief trembling?" And the wise man said, "Because you came to visit me, my child, and I wanted to see you, receive you. I had a high fever, so I put it in this cloth which happened to be nearby, so that's why it is trembling. Instead of my body, now this piece of cloth is trembling." My dear friends, can you believe it that this body, this mind, and all the ideas and understanding about yourself, your image, your prestige, your identity is like a piece of cloth which happened to be nearby, and you, for some unknown reason, have happened to put yourself into it, and since then you are not what you are in fact. And since then all the miseries and problems have arisen, and you keep on searching for yourself. Who am I? Who am I? Answers do come, but soon to be proven too pseudo, and thus one never finds it, because your search begins with identification of yourself with the handkerchief, and that keeps changing as soon as it is worn out. You even become identified with any new thing which happens to be nearby. This is the condition of all people throughout the world. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna explains himself many times in terms of very self of all beings who are lost in an identity crisis. When he says, "Come to me, listen to me, and worship me, and relinquish all and take shelter of me," he is not saying it out of ego, not out of vanity, also not to control you or enslave you. He only means if you do it, you will realize yourself, and doing so, age-old problems and sufferings will come to an end. What a great surprise! A seer says to Krishna, "You are our own self, but we take you as the other," while actually the body, the senses, the mind, and thoughts and ego are all others, totally alien, even inert, but we take them as ours, our own, ourself. And then we begin to search for ourselves somewhere else, all and everywhere, searching, searching. What a great wonder of ignorance! That is why Sid promised, O Lord, knowing you, one becomes you. This is him, the very Atma of everybody. For the welfare of the world, he appeared as another being in the body and began moving and speaking and acting as one of us. In his cosmic form, space and time are just imposed, just projected. When he appears by his Maya power, making us feel as if he is also like us and acts among us as one of us, his pastimes are then highly captivating. But all these are only to reach us, to touch our heart, to convey the message. This is the language he uses just to communicate with us. When infinite is talked in terms of finite, there will always be a problem. Therefore, when Krishna says, I create, I am doing it, you be an instrument, I am the Supreme Power, then just don't become negative. Don't get boggled up. Don't get turned off. Don't wonder if he is God, then where I shall be. If he sits on that chair, where will I sit? Don't compete. Drop your competitive mind. You will lose a most wonderful opportunity. Be sympathetic. Try to understand his pain. Try to understand Krishna Bhagavan's pain. He is trying to tell in various ways Akshar, Nistraya. Sometimes he says Brahm, another time Purush, another time Atma, I, Mam, and many more. That these just terminologies are for you. What you actually are, your own future possibilities, your innate, your ultimate potentiality. So be cooperative with Krishna and be positive with Krishna. Think what he is going through for you, and I am sure you will get the point. You will understand Gita then. Then whenever you will meet Krishna, you will find none else but an advanced state of your own self. If you are a scientist, you will find him a greater scientist. If you are a poet, he is greater poet. If you are a wrestler, he is the greater wrestler. If you are a politician, a diplomat, he is far bigger than you. He will be the greater one. If you are a beauty lover, he will be the greatest of all beautifuls, greatest of all lovers. A musician, he is the best musician. A mystic, he is the great mystic. He will be the greatest mystic. If rich, he will be far bigger tycoon than you can ever imagine of. Everybody you have ever heard of, he will be beyond them. If you are a terminator, Krishna will come to you as a bigger terminator. If you are a logician, he will appear as the world's best logician, far bigger than Plato and Aristotle and Socrates. In short, Sri Krishna is neither name for your own. Sri Krishna is another name for your own higher possibility, my dear friend. Krishna of Gita transcends individuality. He is Tao, he is Nirvana, he is Kaivalya, he is the self, pure consciousness, and so many. And at the same time, none of them. He is just what there is. And so, to know what there is, to this ultimate isness, is the message of Gita of Krishna. Also, by reading about so many qualities and specialties to develop, your mind may begin to think that it seems too big and troublesome a job, leading towards hard-heartedness and dry living. Please don't be struck with this stereotyped narrow vision. Whenever you enjoy something, obviously you become oblivious of other things. It is the same with poetry, with love, with nature, with scientific investigations and philosophy. Absorption is the same. When you taste a delicious item cooked by a friend, the absorption is the same as a philosopher in his library. But no one blames you for being hard-hearted, cold, and alienating others. No, it only pleases you. The same way when you are expressing the greatest bliss of the world or preparing for it, then naturally you will appear or sound or feel dry and harsh. But this is not so, this is not true. Your sensitivity, your compassion, your observation, your vitality and aliveness grow 1,000-fold. So don't be disheartened, you are definitely growing, enriching and climbing on a solid foundation for the first time in life. Believe it, as firm and strong, your trust becomes so much homage descends, and then the entire Bhagavad Gita's wisdom becomes so familiar to you that as soon as you read it, you begin to feel it. There have been many great saints who became enlightened in just this way. Somebody said, I am all this and all this and that. It is as easy and simple as nothing else is as easy and simple. Through sadhana, through practice, all what we are doing is just unwinding the complexity of vasanas and sanskaras and karmas, cleaning all these dusts, untying the knots of the strings. Please know also that all indications of he in this Bhagavad Gita translation also include she. In the soul, in the Atma, in the true self, there is no distinction. Whatever is told is equally applied to all ladies of all nations, of all times. It is also the same with children, with teens and old age people. Age, gender and number don't matter. This knowledge is for all children, all teenagers, all elders, all ladies, all Jains, all Americans, all Europeans, all Eskimos, all Chinese, and all whites and all blacks and everyone else. Lastly, we would like you to know that this is not the only book of the author. Okay? He has presented psychological and yogic commentaries on